All right, as Dr. Goebel said, my name is Colonel Brian O'Leary, and I want to start by telling you what an honor it is for me to be here for this really special and really unique event. And I'd like to mention something to you about the curious timing of the event that I think makes it even more special. Some of you may be aware that today, October 25th, is St. Crispin's Day. And those of you who didn't know that can be forgiven because St. Crispin, one of the patron saints of cobblers and leather workers, isn't exactly a household name. So why do I bother bringing up the feast day of this fairly obscure saint? Well, as it turns out, over the years, St. Crispin's Day has been a pretty popular day for major military engagements. For instance, it was on this day in 1854, during the Crimean War, that the British Light Brigade made its fateful charge. On October 25th, 1944, during the Second World War, 3 major battles took place. In North Africa, the Second Battle of El Alamein helped turn the tide of the war against Nazi Germany. And on the very same day, the Battle of Leyte Gulf, which was the largest naval engagement of the war, and the Battle for Henderson Field on the island of Guadalcanal both took place, all on the feast of St. Crispin. Actually, the list goes on, but what I'll focus on tonight is October 25th in the year 1415, when King Henry V led the British Army to victory over the French in the Battle of Agincourt during the 100 Years' War. Again, don't be too hard on yourselves if you missed that during history class. After all, it was hardly the climactic battle of the war, which managed to rage on for another 38 years. And perhaps the reason this particular military engagement is particularly memorable isn't military at all. It's literary. Shakespeare immortalized the battle in his play Henry V. However, what's remembered nowadays more than the battle itself is the speech that preceded it, generally referred to as the St. Crispin's Day speech. The speech actually starts out with Henry responding to his uncle's outspoken complaints that the British simply don't have enough troops for the impending battle, and his wishing that they had more. In one of history's greatest examples of turning lemons into lemonade, Henry responds to his uncle's despairing by reminding him, "The fewer men, the greater share of honor." He then pleads with his uncle to stop complaining about the situation, saying, "God's will, I pray thee, wish not one man more." He continues to reiterate in detail that he doesn't want any reinforcements. In fact, he goes on to admonish his men that we would not die in that man's company that fears his fellowship to die with us. He doesn't want cowards or conscripts, only willing warriors. Henry then proceeds to rouse his exhausted and outnumbered men, telling them that years from now, they'll remember not just the day, but the very names of the men beside whom they fought, those men who wanted to be there. A few centuries later, the great American historian and author Stephen Ambrose would borrow a phrase from that speech to describe a company of World War II paratroopers who would forever be known as a band of brothers. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today who sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. That phrase and that sentiment still apply not just to members of one company or to one branch of the armed forces, but to all those who serve our great nation. For nearly 2 generations now, our military has been an all-volunteer force. No one who's joined since 1973 has been compelled to do so. In fact, today, less than 1% of the American population serves in the military. The fewer men, the greater share of honor. Don't worry, I'm not here tonight to recruit your sons and daughters. I won't discuss civil-military relations or the policy implications of an all-volunteer force. That's not what tonight is about. Tonight is about those happy few who have served and those who continue to serve. This is a night to honor the band of brothers that are your neighbors, your family members, and your friends, some of whom are here with us tonight, others of whom will remember tonight, and some of whom will remember always. King Henry tells his men that on each St. Crispin's Day, on the anniversary of the battle, that they'll strip their sleeves and show their scars, and that they'll remember with advantages what feats they did that day. Well, I'm happy to say that over my years as a Marine, I've found that really any day can be St. Crispin's Day. Anytime old friends unite, or whenever soldiers or sailors or airmen or Marines encounter one another, even for the first time, and remember what feats they did in the service of our nation and in the cause of liberty. Anytime stories are told of the best and worst times we've spent, and perhaps even better, when stories are shared across branches or units or even generations. Here's to the happy few, those with us tonight and those we wish were here. God bless them all. God bless you for being here, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. Private First